This will stream. Okay.
Where am I looking? Where am I looking for it?
I am doing this. Oh, come on. This is one of those things that's frustrating about Rumble if you're not using their streaming software.
Yeah.
If you're like, if you start to stream it, if you wait too long to start a stream, then you have to go back. It's a pain in the butt to do it. So I got to go back here and copy all this stuff and restart. You can't leave it sit for a little too long, you know. It's like ramen
I
noodles.
mean, I kind of don't blame them, right? Isn't that the whole?
Never take sides against the family.
Not. I mean, it is capitalism, right? You want people to use your service.
Yeah, whatever. Capitalism is unbiblical. It's
I
fascist.
deal with that a lot.
That capitalism is fascist or unbiblical.
Oh, it's not unbiblical. What are you talking about?
All
Oh,
right, let's see. Is it doing it? Okay, let's check. I'm going to check Rumble. Let me view
I,
live stream and make sure we're good to go now that we're way past.
I don't see it on Rumble, but we
Okay.
can start wherever we need to.
Oh, there we go. Looks like it's popping. It's popping on Rumble. Hey, that sounded like a little fidget thing.
Oh, it is the coolest new phone case I got. Look, it has this little ring on the back and
Oh,
it's a magnet. So that's my magnet. And then it also works as a phone stand and it rotates so I can
oh, that is so cool.
pretty cool, right?
That is pretty cool.
I broke my phone case though. That's what you get. Like I shouldn't be I drop my phone a lot. I buy phone insurance. I'm one of those people.
I did the same thing. All right, looks like we're good to go on Rumble, and I hope that we're good to go on Facebook and YouTube. But all right, let's start the show. I'm not going to do any theme music this week, so
Okay.
welcome to the breakdown, everybody. This is Aaron Barker broadcasting from an undisclosed location deep behind enemy lines, asking the questions that get you kicked out of Bible study and sent to therapy. Thank you all so very much for the opportunity to be in your vehicle, office, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, henhouse, outhouse, or doghouse, wherever it is you may be listening to the breakdown today. A lot of stuff happening, many news stories to get to. Everything from Snow White gets dwarfed at the box office, and whose fault is that? All the way down to Trump cultists are still at work and still at large. All of that is coming at you today. Don't forget to head on over to aaronbarker.substack.com. It's there where you can join the show and sub to it, get all the new drops that happen over there. You can also subscribe and get the subscriber only show, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit. And the subscriber only show, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hour podcast that's dropped every Wednesday that you can get because you're an exclusive subscriber. And you can also get all the new updates and anything specific over there as well. We are on, hopefully, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble today, broadcasting live on the Crusade channel, live radio the way it should be. And as with us, as always, misinformation herself, the lovely Erica Sauer. Good morning, Erica.
Good morning.
It is great to see you again. And yeah, so let's do this real quick before we dive into the chum bucket. We have an episode of the breakdown that's going to be dropping. The breakdown declassified. Let me throw that in there real quick. So we started doing the breakdown, and I was calling it Dimension X Files, and I did it Dimension X Files, and I kind of did a retro theme based around the 1987 Ninja Turtles cartoon. And Dimension X is where Krang is from. X-Files is a throwback to the paranormal TV show. So I crammed both together, Dimension X-Files. Well, we started doing the show, and I was like, I love that name so much, and I love that logo so much. And I've really wanted to do like a nostalgia, entertainment, pop culture type show. And I was like, I want to use that name. It's so cool that I'm going to separate that. So we separated Dimension X-Files. It's now going to be something else that I do with a little bit later down the road. And now the show that we drop every week is called the breakdown declassified, and that's where we're going to explore all kinds of different topics. I'm talking to several people to get them on. So far we've talked about Christian movie making with Marcus Pittman and Lore TV. We've had Dave Emmons on, who talked about intercourse with aliens, and we've had I know every time we say that it's funny because it's like, that you don't that's not typically a topic that you talk about. It's like alien porn.
It's funny because he's so serious about it.
Eh,
Okay, go ahead.
no, I mean, like, that is a very good point. Like, and I'm not making fun of him at all. It's just when you talk to him, there's no, well, I think what happened is, or there's no hesitation.
No, he
Like,
says
the
it like
dude's
he's
like,
explaining taking out the trash on Monday.
yeah.
Like, yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if that's one of the reasons why it's so um I don't know, so easy to believe him, or what, but it just seems like there's so much, I mean, so much that he says that really just it's just it's crazy to not not that he's
You
crazy.
said it, not me.
Not that he's crazy, but, like, no, but seriously, there's so much that he says in that show, and you're just like, wow, that is so it's just so believable.
So talk about as we separated, what do we have? We have something this week, you guys. You cannot miss this.
Yeah, this we had, and much to Erica's chagrin, we have we have interviewed Flat Earth Dave. Now, Flat Earth Dave is prolific when it comes to interviewing for the Flat Earth debate and the Flat Earth discussion. Now, many people
Right.
out there like, you're stupid, you're crazy, you're the R word, all of this because you're even entertaining the idea of the flat Earth. But I don't shut down conversation. If I have a guy on that talks about alien experiences that he's had for 60 plus years and the things that he goes into, why would I not have somebody on to discuss flat Earth? And so we have him on to discuss that. And it was really a different kind of interview than what we've had before, because it was almost like Dave was interviewing Erica.
Yeah, I was
'Cause-
gonna say, I think I got interviewed on Wednesday for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. And I loved it. Like, I was just sitting there, like, taking it all in, and I was so happy and so glad that he was that Erica, that you, not only that he was doing it like that, but the fact that you were such a good sport, and that you took it, like, you were listening to it and you were answering the questions and you were respectful. So I loved that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to start a fight for sure, right? And like I told you, he goes so fast that unless you're really, really proficient in the subject, you're not going to be able to have that. It wasn't that type of debate, right? He wasn't there for us to debate him. I don't think so.
Right.
I was trying to, yeah, yeah, I was trying to take it out. There was definitely some parts where I was like, wait, what? Because I couldn't come up with an immediate, no, that's wrong. I was kind of like, wait a minute, that's ac- actually correct. So, but the point is, you guys, this one is not going to be behind the paywall. It's not going to be for subscribers only.
Yes.
So, even though it's coming out at the same time that our normal subscriber episode would air, it's going to be for everybody. And I think Dave will be in the chat. Um, and I expect, as he told us, many trolls to be in the chat because he's going to advertise it airing as well. And it ought to be fun for sure.
Yes, and I am so hoping that we can all just kind of join in there. So I'm going to premiere this on Wednesday night, and that's going to be Wednesday night. What is that? April? No, yeah,
April
April
2nd.
2nd. Yeah, Wednesday, April 2nd at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will be I will be broadcasting it, and hopefully everybody will be able to join us, hop in the chat, have discussions. And again, I told Erica before this, I was like, I want you to challenge him, and I want you to bring up questions that I may not, because this is so fascinating to me that I'm taking everything in as I hear it, and just listening to everything he has to present. And I'm not a very smart person, so especially when it comes to science. So when he's saying, "Oh, well, this is, this is, this theory disproves this theory," there are some things that I hear, and I'm like, you know what, that's extremely convincing to me, even though I don't understand science. I do wonder about some of the things that he's talking about, some of the things that he says, and it really is pretty incredible to me to hear, and very,
Listen, you have to take this information and go and listen back to it and do your own research, right?
yes,
Like, because for most of us who just had, like, 7th grade earth science, and I mean, I took physics, that's about as far as I went, right? Like, high school physics. I'm not talking about physics in college. I dissected a cat, like, I I was in AP biology, but for those of us that just went that far, you know enough that he says basic principles, and then as he's warping them, you're like, "Okay, well, wait a minute, that actually makes sense," and then you're like, "Hold on." When you when you get a chance to think about it, you're like, "Huh, wait," and I got some of my questions answered and some not, so that was interesting, but yeah, I mean, I asked questions, I didn't let him just talk
right.
the whole time, but yeah.
Right, you did, and that's one of the things again that I appreciate that, and one of the things that I think that a lot of people can do that is, again, one of the things I love about doing this show. I find something and I'm like, that's interesting to me. I may not be able to understand everything that they are talking about, but I am certainly um, going to have the conversation.
Yeah.
So
Ask the question. You're supposed to continue learning. You don't get to a point in your life where you're like, "Yep, I know it all." Although there are many people who believe that.
there are a lot of people who believe that, and the people who think they know everything are getting in the way of those of us who really do. Yes.
How did I not see that coming?
My uncle used to have that hanging up on his wall, or hanging up on his door. When I was growing up, I remember that from years ago. So I am doing this right now. I'm not. It sounds like I'm stalling, and that's because I am. I'm trying to get this to post live to Facebook real quick, and I think that I am almost there. And it's because I really want to get us back on Facebook, and I'm hoping to do that today. But you know how it goes. Whether you're working with all this new technology, and I'm staring at a screen, and I have no idea what's going on. So let's just do this. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the chum bucket. So let's dive into the chum bucket. This is the where we plumb the depths of the internet's most fascinating accounts of this life in which we live. And here's this. I've heard about these types of situations before. By the way, these types of situations where in extreme duress a person begins to or people are able to do something that seems almost impossible. This is the Tampa Police Department, and the Tampa Police Department shows up at a place where a guy was working on a car. The car collapses on the guy, and here's what they do, what the police department does to save this chap's life.
Yeah. There's four of us. No pulse. No pulse. Hey, got a bag. Got a bag. Hold on, I got an AED. We got pulse.
Press firmly to bare skin.
Yeah. There's four of us.
Right. So what they did, as you can see there, is these police officers showed up at this house. Now I know that there are more than, there are four of these guys that are there. However, what happens is they show up at this guy's house, and the car he was working on his car, and it collapsed on him. And when it collapsed on him, obviously the dude loses consciousness, stops breathing, etc. But all four of them get together and hoist this car up off of this gentleman, and there he is, no pulse, not breathing, anything. And they are able to revive him and bring him back to life, just like Evanescence would do if they were there. And here, I mean, it's pretty incredible because I've heard about these stories where somebody gets so jacked up on adrenaline that they're able to do seemingly impossible human feats, where they lift up vehicles, or they're able to to do superhuman type activities to save a person's life. When I was growing up, there was a story of a kindergarten teacher at our school that did something similar. She lifted a car up off of a kid. Now that could be an urban tale, an urban legend. However, She never denied it. But it was, I mean, this kind of stuff just fascinates me because of the capability of the human mind and the capability of the human spirit and body in times like this just fascinates me. So I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, the
That
cops.
is. That's
I mean,
incredible.
I,
I mean, I how heavy is a car? I'm kind of small. I can't say I've ever tried to lift one. Is it what's give me a
couple thousand pounds.
comparison. That
Yeah.
would be like 4 girls trying to lift what?
Four girls.
Dishwasher?
Uh, yeah,
Like
four girls trying to lift a kitchen table.
or a washing machine, a kitchen table. Come on now.
Well, I mean, when you're
Gee,
doing it according
maybe
to
if it's
strength.
like solid oak, but what are I was thinking like a washing machine, if we're trying to carry a washing machine or something. I'm trying to think of something
Yeah,
that's pretty heavy because, you know, but
something that is
yeah,
heavier, yeah.
I think in I would think a woman could lift a car off a child. Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe, especially if it is the woman's child, I believe that it would definitely be able to a woman would be able to lift that up. Now, although women can't be in the public sphere, right? As we heard Pastor Joel Weber say, or Webben, whatever his name is, he's not allowed to. I mean, women can't do that. So typically, if a woman's going to do that, no, you can't allow her to do
Well, then I guess if he's under the car, I'm not going to worry about trying to help him.
that. Like, sorry, Pastor Joel, we would help you out,
I
but
would help
unfortunately,
you,
it's
but
all
seeing
women.
as I don't belong in the public sphere, I can't really step in here. I got to know my place, and the
You
kitchen's
do.
calling.
You do have to know your place, Erica, and, when it's a situation like that, you've gotta be able to say, let's let the men do this. Let's let
Let's
the
let
men
the
step
men
in and
do
lift up the
this.
car." That's
Who
what
would
women.
blame me? No one would blame me,
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the Christian position, right? Women just are inferior. They can't do anything
right? I'd be
without.
like, I understood the assignment. I'm not sure what the problem is here.
Yeah, you would have to get the men in your life, like your dad would have to give you approval according to him.
Right.
Like, you can't
I
have your
had
own
to make a
idea.
phone call. No one answered. I didn't get clearance.
Right. There's
I
a whole
tried.
process.
I
There's a
tried.
whole process that you would have to go through to
Couldn't
get.
get my apron off.
You gotta dry. You gotta dry your hands. You gotta get your makeup and primp your hair.
I didn't want to break a nail.
Yeah, you wanna make sure everything is perfectly primped and ready because women can't do that stuff unless
Right.
they are primped and ready. All right, let's see what else we got here. But incredible, I think, incredible work that these folks do. And I'm usually very critical of police officers, but this week I decided that I wasn't going to be critical of police officers. I was going to show something that presented more of a softer side of me and a softer side of my anti-government and anti activities in that typical fashion. Here's this wonderful piece of news as well. So there was a fundraiser at a school in Long Beach, California. And kids were encouraged. I remember doing this. I always wanted to win these prizes, but they would bring in these fundraising things, these brochures, and you're supposed to sell candy or you're selling some kind of like popcorn or something. I can't remember what they brought in for us to sell.
It doesn't matter. Wrapping paper, sometimes it's
Mm,
cookies and chocolates, sometimes
yeah,
it's popcorn. Yeah,
I think I remember the wrapping paper. The wrapping paper and the popcorn were the things I remember the most.
yeah.
Um, but they would do these different types of products, whatever they may be, and you were to take these things home and you were to fundraise for the school because why not? It's public funding. Your parents are already paying for it with their property tax, but you can always use a little bit more money because being a teacher in public schools is the most important thing out there. You
Oh,
have
no,
to
yeah.
have public schools, right?
It's not
Uh,
just public schools.
yeah, no. So here is this story of a young woman who raised it wasn't a huge amount of money, but she still raised money for the school. And then what they did is after you raise money for these schools, they give you like little chintzy prizes. And the more money you raised it was like when you go to the arcade or Chuck E. Cheese, you get like 50,000 tickets,
Right.
and then you get one of those plastic little frogs that hop, you know.
Or you get like this is what you can get for that number of tickets on this shelf. Anything on this shelf right here, you can get for that number of tickets.
Exactly. Well, here is the story that covers this, and I'm gonna get there real quick here. Here is the story about this and why the parents are outraged over this particular story.
Surprises that some called racist. It follows an incident where a 10-year-old black girl received a toy monkey and fake poop as her reward. We talked about it yesterday.
Indeed.
I
Well,
just want to make sure y'all caught that. For her own fundraising efforts, she received a toy monkey and a toilet full of fake poop.
Did
That's
she
what she
choose those, though? Was that what she elected to receive as her prize?
I believe this was pretty set out. So they have the fundraiser. The young girl goes to get her toy or to get her prize, and it's causing outrage. And the reason it's causing such outrage is because the young girl is evidently African American, and they gave her a toy monkey. So the
Okay,
family is claiming that this is a racist gift to their daughter because it was a
stop.
monkey. Yes, that's what it is. I'll let this go.
Stop it.
I'm
Play.
I
Just
will not
play it so
stop.
I can go ham on this woman.
Here we go.
God.
now some parents are defending the school, saying that they were notified about the prizes in advance. Fox 11's Laura Diaz is live in Long Beach with the
Oh
latest.
my God, live.
Laura.
Yes, Susan, a lot of emotion here in Long Beach over that story we told you about yesterday here on Fox 11. As you just mentioned, that African-American family very upset that their daughter received as a prize a toy monkey and also a toilet with fake poop in it. Very, very upset that that's what she got to be rewarded for her efforts in raising money for the school. But today we heard from another family. They saw it differently and they wanted to share their opinion because they said that everybody knew in advance what the contest was all about, that it was all well laid out and distributed to family. Let's listen to what they had to say.
What I don't know if it's just the child in me, but for some reason, hearing these news reporters, and they have that very sophisticated,
Right.
monotone news delivery voice.
This is so serious, right?
Yeah,
This is an announcement that terrorism is about to happen to your place. You
the
need to
young
take cover. That's how
the
serious she is.
the young lady received as compensation for her hard work a toy monkey and a toilet bowl full of fake poop.
What? I mean, did she fill out a racial profile before she entered the contest? They didn't know what color she was when they sent it out. Haven't you ever seen these things? Give me a break.
So a family is saying, look, we know that they're like, well, I'll let the family speak for themselves because they're saying that this was something that everyone knew about.
In this case, I think we really feel that the the fact of the matter is it was all laid out from the very start. And if there really was a problem with this toy, we're talking about a toy, then there was an opportunity to remove yourself if you didn't feel like you could support this from fundraising.
There's the toy in question.
They're speaking of the Bubble Run campaign. It's held every year at the school. They went as far as to say it's one of the signature events held at the school. Most of the money goes to the PTA. Now, according to the family, an explanation of the fundraiser was sent out weeks in advance. It also included a list of the prizes. In other words, it was based on the amount of money that you brought into the school, the prize you received. And on that list, you could see the monkey and the toilet with the fake poop. Now, the family says that they believe that the other family could have opted out. They didn't have to participate in this event if they found it distasteful on any level, but they chose to proceed. So that was their take on it. I should note that the child in this case, their child, half Hispanic, half white. So the African-American family is perhaps seeing this story through a different lens. It would certainly seem so. The other thing to point out tonight is that the school district did in fact issue an apology. It's quite lengthy, and I'll have more of it in subsequent reports, but I can tell you that it says in part that the whole event was meant to be fun. The rewards were meant to be fun. Some items were not appropriate to a school setting. So that is what I was able to glean from that letter that I've only read a portion of. We'll have more on that as we report on this at 9 and 10 o'clock this evening.
How long does that apology have to be?
Oh my
The
God,
reporter
I'm
says,
done.
"I've only read a portion of this."
Okay, first of all, they should never have apologized the kudos to the family that had the cojones to stand up and say, "Listen, this is ridiculous." Everybody knew what the prizes were. Everybody knew what the contest was. You knew what you were going to get if you got this amount of funds raised, right? This is ridiculous. First of all, it's a chintzy toy. So apparently, this young lady did not raise very much money for her school. That's what I'm gonna say, first of all. If
Yeah.
if that and if you knew that no, stop it. Everybody got the monkey, not just her. That would be racist.
Yeah.
If only she got the monkey, but everybody who raised the same amount of money for the school got the same prize. And that is ridiculous. And this reporter needs to just retire. Honey, just hang it up. You have to report on uh-uh. Mm,
I would just like to say that with this monkey, with this toy that they showed here, I'm just going to pull up a picture of it real quick, an image of this, so that people can once again grasp the horrible nature of this toy. I think that the best thing they could have done is
show it laying on the desk like a carcass, like it's
yeah,
some kind of evil satanic thing. Look at that.
yeah, what they could have done here, what they should have done is they should have just put a white robe and a white cap on this thing and then just
Right.
handed it out as a gift. That's what they should have done. And they should have been like, you are equivalent to the poo in the toilet.
To the
Here
boo
is
in the
your
toilet.
racist monkey toy.
Here's your monkey toy. I don't know. I kind of think it's cute.
I would love it as a kid to win anything like that. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, more of this right here on the breakdown. So keep it locked in and do not go anywhere. All right, we should be out for the Crusade channel there. I think we did pretty good on that first segment, getting that right up to the line. We are now live on Facebook, by the way. I
What
finally,
happened to our music?
I so I keep getting hit with these. So they started monetizing me on Facebook, and for some reason,
Oh, I saw
they
that.
yeah, so they're saying it's profit sharing, which I don't mind profit sharing, but the band, The Last Troubadour, the theme music, Destiny, that opening song and several of the pieces throughout the show, they gave me permission to use this like 9 years ago because I was
So,
friends with the drummer.
oh, and
But
so and they're now you're having a problem with it?
yeah, they were like, "Hey, you can use it," but now when I put it up there, anything that is like this right here, that's why I kept trying to stop it a couple of times. Anything here that I utilize is going to be could be copyrighted, and then it's going to be profit sharing with these other groups. So I have to get new music so that there's no impact on that. And then also for some reason, I think that I put
You
up a
know,
couple of clips that were repurposed that weren't changed enough, so I lost monetization on Reels. So I'm trying to figure out all that.
Rocky Stucci's friend Robert Bauer plays guitar and does a lot of intros, outros for Rocky. I bet we could get him to play us something.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
It's really good, like electric guitar. He's done some cool jams for Rocky for his intros and outros. Also, I have an idea if you want to say something when we're back about a giveaway for a subscription.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds
You want me to tell you what it is first?
oh, no, no, not at all. I mean, like, I'll just let you run with it.
Okay, because
Um,
I have an idea for giving one away. I got a plan.
that sounds fantastic to me, and I believe it's time for us to come back. JB over in the chat room, like the only person that listens to the show on the Crusade channel. Well, not the only person. There's like one or two other folks over there.
Is that
Oh,
my
it's
fault?
a live mic. No, it's
Have I driven all the Catholics out of the chat?
no, it's probably it's the fact that it's a Saturday morning.
Oh, that's what it
That
is.
it's a Saturday morning and yeah, many different times. That's what I'm telling myself because if it was because the show sucked, I would just like it would just break my heart. I don't think I could take that kind of rejection right now. I feel like Rex. I don't think I can handle that
I
type of
can't
rejection.
I can't take it. Oh my god.
Inconceivable. All right, here we go. Welcome back to the breakdown, folks. Thanks for staying with us during that talkie break there. We really greatly appreciate that. We have, as always, we're joined over on the Crusade Channel live radio. The way it should be. Make sure you check out Mike Church's show. He is now at a different time zone, 12 o'clock, 12 to 3, which I think he should be. Out of all the and I'm not just sucking up because I don't get a chance to listen as much as I want to. But out of all the conservative hosts, I believe that if there was going to be a Quoted Fingers replacement for Rush Limbaugh, there that Mike Church would do that. I don't get paid to endorse him. I don't get any kickbacks or anything like that. He graciously allows me and my stupid antics on over on the Crusade channel. So it's not like I'm trying to suck up. But if there's anybody out there, I think that could match what we lost when Rush Limbaugh died, and I agreed with probably 40% maybe of what Rush Limbaugh said. But he was the godfather of the medium that I love to do, and I think that Mike Church would be the Quody Fingers replacement, or I think he could fill those shoes. So check out Mike Church's show. It's 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern. But if you go to youtube.com, and you can find him there, subscribe to that channel so you're always up there. And you can always also go to crusadechannel.com and listen to the program there and join in the Crusader Stadium chat. All right. Now, Erica, you said that you had something that you wanted to cover.
I do. Well, I have an idea. I have a contest. It's going to be quick though, right? So it's going to be for people that are pretty much listening today or that hear this before April Fool's Day.
Oh,
So most of you know I have four older brothers, and April Fool's is a big deal in our family. Like the one-upmanship and the success of your April Fool's can predict your whole year. So it's important that I win every year, and it's a very competitive thing in the family. So, whichever one of you helps me or gives me the best April Fool's gag for four older brothers, I will get you a subscription to Aaron's Substack so you can see all of our Wednesday episodes and all of Aaron's amazing writing.
oh, stop it. That sounds like a great. That sounds like a great
This
gift.
is a win-win. I'm doing this for me. Don't act like this is a giving moment, okay? I'm getting old. I've gone through the gamut. I need some help and I have to win. So any idea is accepted.
There you go. How do they get in touch with you? Where do they send that?
They can DM me on Facebook Messenger. I'll take that, or they can reach out to me on Twitter at NoFan01. Misinformation, yeah, whatever you want to do. I don't care. I'll even send them all to you so you can be a true judge, or we can judge together so I'm not biased. But yeah, I think for sure.
Oh,
I
well,
need some ideas.
yeah, that sounds fantastic. And I appreciate the fact that you're doing that too, Eric. Anything to increase traffic over there. That's the Substack right there. For people who don't, Substack is really just if you took a website or like a podcasting website and a newsletter website, and they had a love child. That's what Substack is. And it is made for writers to write and put out their own content, but also it centers around podcasters as well and all kinds of multimedia. So everything that you see there, that's the cool layout that I have over there. But whenever you go there, you're going to be able to listen to hours and hours and hours of
Oh my
shows all the way
God. I could not have picked a better group of people. Roger Rabbit in the Rumble chat says, convince them you're transitioning.
Oh my gosh. You will be Eric now. Oh man, that might be the winner. Okay, we need to write that down. That's
I mean, I'm not shaving my head. If I could pull it off without doing the whole hair change, I mean, I can get a fake nose ring.
there you go. You can where are my glasses?
I might be able to pull that off. All right, these ideas are going to be great. I think this is these are great. Okay, good.
We're gonna have to scour the chat here.
Yep.
CRM 114 over in the Crusader Stadium chat says the April Fools I remember is the secretary of my old boss left a message to call back Mr. Lion, and she gave him the phone number for the Bronx Zoo. It actually worked, Mr.
Oh my
Lion. at the
God,
Bronx
that's
Zoo.
great. That's great.
There's another one for you. And before we go on now, do you yard sale at all, Erica? Like yard sale or thrift or anything like that?
I do like to go thrifting. My daughter and I like that. It's not yard sales usually I save for when I'm looking for literally depression glass.
Oh,
Don't comment. I don't want to hear anything, okay? It's for my mom, and for whatever reason there's a ton of depression glass in Indiana, and a lot of people don't even know they have it. So yard sales are where you find it the most. But we'll go thrifting. Yeah, we find great clothes, sunglasses, jewelry, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I will not buy used shoes.
Really?
Yeah.
I won't buy used underwear. No.
Who the he
I mean, I won't. I mean, we're just throwing out reasons
you
why.
can't buy that. I'm sorry. If that's for sale, you're going to the wrong store. Don't go
So,
there.
so this when I was growing up, we if you were seen yard selling, or if anybody found out you were yard selling, or if they knew you went to the Goodwill, or
Oh,
not
that was
Home
a
Depot, but
problem.
Goodwill. I mean, it was mortifying.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was bad enough to be seen by somebody at Kmart because I was a fat kid, and the only way that I was able to get clothes was if we went to Kmart or Walmart as
'Cause
fat
they
kids.
had the Husky. They had the
That's right.
Husky brand.
That's right.
Right? I
And
know. I had a son like that.
see, so you know exactly. So like it was so we had to but if you were found at one of those stores, let alone at a thrift shop, it was mortifying. Now
It
it is
was.
trendy and cool. People are like, "Oh,
Yes.
I went thrifting and found this. Oh, I'm at like people posting up videos finding toys and stuff. Not nostalgic, but like classic toys, like GI Joe stuff.
Toys.
Yeah,
Have you seen these, girls on and I shouldn't just say girls, but these women on TikTok that thrift or get sent to them thrifted jars of jewelry that they open and they go through it and they do a, "I'm keeping this is for sale, I'm keeping this is for sale," and they sell it.
that's incredible.
It's crazy, but it's cool stuff.
A great idea. It was
Yeah,
definitely a great idea.
yeah,
Well, so if you here's the story that I thought was fascinating. A a woman goes to a yard sale and she buys a painting. She paid $12 for it.
okay.
And this she evidently is the owner of a rural Pennsylvania antique store. She paid $12 for what might be an original drawing by French impressionist Pierre Auguste Renoir. So she buys, and this is like a hand sketch in the frame, etc., signed piece of what she suspects is a Renoir. She's got it set to be what do they
She's
call it?
gonna have it
Appraised.
appraised,
Appraised.
right?
Thank you for that. Yeah, so she's set to have it appraised. She said that she told ABC News that after she identified the piece as something special, her son bid on three works while she continued eyeing other items for sale. She paid $12 for each of them. So now it's a Renoir, so it's going to be probably. I mean, I don't even know the value. Maybe in the millions. I might be exaggerating, but maybe in the millions, and she pays $12 for it. Fascinating, right?
Yeah.
If you're at a yard sale, garage sale, whatever, and you see a piece and you know like they're selling it for 10 bucks or $5 and you're like, my gosh, they're sitting on an original Renoir, or they're sitting on a piece of an item that would probably garner them tens of thousands, maybe even hundred thousands of dollars. Would you tell them, or would you just give them the full price or haggle? I'd probably haggle and then buy that for yourself and then sell it.
Okay, did she know? She knew it was real, or she at least suspected
He
that this was
suspected.
a real thing? She didn't just get it and then figure it out later?
No, she suspected that it was something special. She identified the piece as something special because she is an antique store owner, so she does have knowledge of some of these antique items.
Oh,
Since you know.
okay, I would just pay for it.
Yeah, you just pay, so you wouldn't say anything to the seller. You just pay for
In
it.
my head, I would like to think that I would pay for it, and then if it turned out to be real, because 'cause you're gonna get a lot of money for that.
Oh yeah,
I mean, who somebody is having a garage sale and doesn't know they have a Renoir, probably if you just gave them 50 grand, they would be ecstatic. And in my head, I would like to think I would do that,
yeah.
but I don't know if I would. I'd pay full price for it though, because especially if I knew, I'd be like, I'm gonna make so much money off this. 12 bucks, here you go.
It's like, hey, yeah, I mean, I'll give you six for it. I got $6 in my right pocket. I got $6 right here in this pocket.
I don't know if I would haggle, but also don't know if I would be Christian enough to then share. I would hope that I would, because it's not like I mean, you know what though? Somebody in your friend group is gonna say, "Are you out of your mind?" The second they find out how much that's worth, they're gonna want way more than 50 grand, and then they're gonna sue you, and then you're gonna be stuck in court, and all the money's gonna go to them battling you for what you had rightfully and didn't even have to offer them anyway.
How can they sue? But like that would probably be it though. You're probably right. So
Yeah,
you
you don't
stay
have to
quiet and
sue
keep your
because
mouth
you
shut.
right. It would be nothing that they could actually sue for, but they'd keep you in court for so long, you'd spend half the million or millions just fighting them in court.
Just trying to
I
get them.
take it back. I would pay full price and I wouldn't say a word and I would
Set
keep
your
all the
cake hole
money.
and then just move on. I mean,
Yep.
that's that in this day and age, it's probably best. Like you try to do something nice, you try to make up for, or not make up, but you try to be like, hey, I'm going to pay you back for this.
Try to share,
Yeah,
right?
try to share the love a little bit, and then the people are like, ah, it's not free, can't you? Screw you.
You only gave me 50 grand and you got this?
Yeah,
How dare you?
it's
You,
like you didn't even
you
know what
know?
the value of it was. You didn't even know what the value of it was until I told you about it. So,
Right.
yeah, that's because I was
That's
like,
like Obama's argument. You didn't build that company. You didn't come up with that.
wait a minute,
What? What? Okay.
you didn't build it.
Okay.
Well, you didn't paint it. I'm just telling you, well, you didn't paint it, you didn't sketch it, you didn't draw it. Here we go. So let's jump into this. By the way, I asked my family, and I didn't get Bree's opinion, but Allison and my oldest Kayla, they were like, I'm buying it. So I'm not saying anything.
Right.
I'm
I
like,
wouldn't say anything. No, I wouldn't say anything.
I love this family. So here we go. So this is we were interesting. I think we've talked about this on the show. But psychoactive sacraments. There's a legal fight erupting in Utah over a mushroom church. A church in Utah, which takes psychoactive mushrooms as sacrament, says they're facing religious persecution just months after Utah Governor Spencer Cox signed a bill into law bolstering religious freedom. Now, amidst government raids, sacrament seizures, and even pending drug charges for the founder, a U.S. district judge has sided with the church, arguing that religious freedom must apply to all, even churches whose sacrament is technically against the law. A government entity may not substantially burden the free exercise of religion of a person, reads Utah's Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which was passed by the Utah Senate and signed into law in March of last year. Per the bill, the government may not impede action substantially motivated by a sincerely held religious belief, except, apparently, Singularism, a religious group based out of Provo, founded by a man named Bridger Lee Jensen. Singularism promotes the consumption of psilocybin, the natural occurring compound in hundreds of species of mushrooms, which psychoactive effects to users as religious sacrament for the cost of some $1,600 per tea ceremony. Okay, so they're charging for it. Singularism adherents are able to consume the otherwise illegal sacrament in a safe, controlled environment run by Jensen, which the Singularism website describes as a sacred place where science and spirituality unite. Now,
Yep.
uh,
This is religious persecution.
of all places in Utah, of all places, they're
Yeah.
trying to persecute a religion because of because of their religious practices in Utah. Now, for those of you who don't know, Utah is the home of Mormonism, which over the years since its beginnings has suffered just a little tiny bit of persecution because of some of their beliefs. And now they're saying that you can't, they're trying to come down on this particular religion, saying they can't practice it because the drug is illegal.
So, okay, I have I have two sides.
All
Which
right, well, let's see.
okay, so the first one is this is definitely religious persecution, right?
Yeah.
Um, except for the $1,600 part, how is that different than tithing? Like if you're supposed to tithe a certain amount of your annual income, well, their tithing is $1,600 per sacrament. Like that's you can't disagree with that, right? That's no
Right.
different. And then, however, I have a problem with can you, um, I don't mean to make you go back. Do you still have it up?
I do.
Can you
Yes.
read the beginning of the statute about about the sacrament and what that statute, just the beginning of it?
The beginning of the statute here. It says a government entity may not substantially burden the free exercise of religion of a person. That's Utah's Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which was passed by the Utah Senate and signed into law in March of last year. So it was March of 24.
So didn't it say something that you or their sacrament or the practices of the sacrament, regardless of, or even if the sacrament is illegal? Is that what it said?
It says singularism promotes the consumption. Let me see here.
It was something about the law saying that or them saying you can't
Oh, that
prohibit
was that was
the okay.
that was the
So
district judge
don't
who
you have a
signed into
problem with
law.
that though? Mhm.
Who, me?
Like, well, that means that any religion can say that you can't stop us from consuming X product because that's our sacrament. Well, what if that's like babies
Uh,
or
yeah,
or right? I mean, there has to be a limitation on it based that what you're consuming is illegal. I get that.
yeah. I mean, obviously, I think that there would be, something that stops with a not a crime necessarily, but something where it harms another person, like
Is
the taking of another
microdosing
person's.
illegal? I mean, they're just drinking mushroom tea.
It shouldn't be illegal, but yeah, it is illegal. Anything like this, I
Oh,
mean,
I didn't know
that
that.
they would be doing some kind of type of psychedelics. Yeah, I mean that's I mean, you would think about it. You look at this and you're like, why is this illegal? Why are grown adults not able to practice
It's
this?
prescribable. There are people who get it prescribed to them. You can purchase capsulated active psilocybin capsules.
So what if it were like meth? What if their sacrament were meth?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like, there has to be how do you limit that? Because there has to be like what I'm saying. I picked something totally out of this world, right? As an example of something that somebody might say, "Well, you can't stop us because that's our sacrament and we have religious freedom from persecution,"
yeah.
right? I mean, there has to be a way to put some sort of limitation on it. And I actually didn't know microdosing was illegal everywhere. I actually thought it was legal in some places. Maybe it's not. Um, Perhaps I need to,
Moved to
reconsider.
Utah.
No,
Nice.
I'm just kidding. Um, sorry. Um, yeah, that's pretty slippery slope, I think.
Yeah, I can see where that concern would pop in, because if it is you replace that with any other type of illegal narcotic,
But you can't
and
tell people how much you can't object to what someone else is willing to pay for their spiritual experience.
right now look back at when the church initially started. And that was that they were being called cannibals because they believed that they were consuming the body and blood of Christ because of transubstantiation. The host was actually the flesh, the body was the blood, or the wine was the blood, and they were being it was illegal, and they were being persecuted because they were saying that they were practicing cannibalism. There's a lot of people spreading that rumor around, which obviously is illegal if you eat somebody. But that was part of the initial persecution of the church. So this could be just another part of that, another religious persecution that leads to the legalization of certain things or the proper understanding of certain things.
Right.
Psychedelics, something like hyuska, I think is what it's called. Those types of things that are not habit forming, they're psychedelics that, when practiced in controlled environments with a guide, are extremely helpful. They're using psychedelics for PTSD and
Yeah.
for mental disorders and different.
Shamans used psychedelics, natural psychedelics for centuries. Like
Right.
although you're not going to find one of those places that isn't on an Indian reservation.
Yeah, I
The
tell you what, that would
ayahuasca
be.
experiences, I don't think you can do that anywhere in the like without being on one of those sovereign land areas. I believe. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But
I
I
would
think
too.
that's still limited. It I think yeah, w- why do they care? Or I mean, I guess I would have some questions. Are they tripping balls? Are they going in there, drinking the tea, seeing all kinds of things? It's an 8, 9 hour experience and nobody's allowed to leave? Okay.
It
That's their choice, right? I mean,
is their
since
choice
when do we get to tell people what to believe? And then
how to
is
practice.
if it's a controlled experience, then why I mean, now if they're going in there, they're having a cup of tea and they're mildly because you don't know how people are going to react to a shrooming experience if that's what's happening, right? And then they're driving out of the parking lot 2 hours later. Problem.
Yeah, and it says in the story that it says that it's a safe, controlled environment. So now there I'm sure that there would be implications, legal implications, if this guy allows these people to leave and they are is in somehow some way inebriated or unable to control themselves, and then there's an incident that causes loss of life or damage to property, that it would fall back on him as well. But from what I can tell, this is a safe, controlled environment. You pay $1,600. I'm sure it's not just to take a swig and take off. It's like take a swig and be there, and
Right. And
like
tell me
guided.
what is that what does the prescription that your doctor gives you that can alter your mental state in under the guise of controlling your anxiety, that you get to, let's see if this one works, or we'll adjust the dose in 30 days,
Yeah,
and you're just driving around willy-nilly.
and you have no
Knock it
idea
off.
what the
Right.
effects could be, right? You have
None
no idea.
none at all. None at all.
Because the difference is because those folks pay billions of dollars to make sure that they're protected. They make sure that the Congress and
Are you
senators in
trying to
their
make
state.
me swear?
I Does it take a lot to make you swear? I mean, you already said tripping balls. I mean, we're really close to the line there on that.
Wait, that's not swearing. That's just colorful and likely edging along the fence of inappropriate.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, we're pushing you to that line. I mean, like, we're
I
getting
will.
you there.
No, I'm not. I'm good. I'm
That's
good.
my goal, to see what it takes to get Erica to crack. How you doing with those resolutions, by the way? Authentic
Hey,
without being
no,
transparent.
you know what? Really good. Better, probably better on the active listening. For sure. Here's a statement I made this week. For those of you out there, you better record this and hope this episode never goes away, because I might not admit it.
Ooh,
I made a statement to someone, and I quote myself, "I want you to know that I heard you and that I agree that that type of problem likely also has something to do with me allowing it to be that way."
okay, now do me a favor. I clicked on something and it started playing in the background. Please repeat that for us.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. I did not know it was gonna do this, and I'm so sorry.
I said to someone, "I heard you, and I want you to know that I think that that situation is also partly my own fault for allowing that. It's not just a problem that occurred in isolation over there. I have a part in that happening, and I heard you."
Wow.
Right?
Wow, that is extremely mature of you.
That is like expert level accountability.
That is extremely mature of you. I'm proud of you. Very, very proud of you.
So I'm doing much better with the active listening than the being authentic without being transparent. That still is a bit of a problem, but
Curtis over in the Rumble chat said that you were tripping balls at the time. I don't know why that's like part of our vernacular. But yeah, that's fantastic, Aaron. Eric. I'm being dead serious on that. I'm being dead serious. It's awesome that's progress. You're making definite progress.
right? Growth. That's
It's
healthy
a lot of
growth.
growth. It is. That is a lot of growth. I'm trying to
You
I'm
want
trying to do the same thing.
you
What's
wanna
that?
know something else?
Yeah, go. Please tell me
It
more.
was horrible. It was horrible.
What
I
the
hope I
situation
hope
that
that
happened, or that you had
Oh,
to
no,
do?
no, 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 just having to do that, and, like, I had to work myself up to it. I had to try to have the conversation without, um rolling my eyes, or like I had to actually like have this conversation, and I forced myself to have it face to face so that I couldn't just blow it off on speakerphone. And I will tell you, I hope that things like that get more comfortable with practice,
Yeah.
because when you don't like to do that, even if I'm good at saying I'm sorry, and I'm fine with admitting that I'm wrong, but those are like after. Like I do that after, right? This is totally different. It's extremely uncomfortable. I don't like it, and I hope that it gets easier.
Well, I it does. It will get easier the more you do it. This is one thing that I have also tried to do, because after being married for 24 years this year, and having teenage daughters, and trying to be the only man in the house, Ginger was a female dog. So it was like we were, and she was actually a dog. I'm not trying to say anything else. She was actually my dog. But like I was surrounded by females, and you say the wrong thing at the wrong time. And one could be firing on all cylinders, one could be not quite there, and you could make the same joke that you made yesterday, and it doesn't fly. It takes a lot to be able to say, I hear you, I see you, and I appreciate you sharing with me those feelings. I will do better in the future to recognize that and try to watch myself. I mean, it takes a lot to say that. And to be honest with you, do you know how far that goes? If you're willing to stop and think, if I were in their position, if the shoe was on the other, whatever euphemism you want to use, if I were there, if I were them, I want people to hear me and understand what I'm trying. I don't want people talking past me. I don't want people trying to explain to me what I need to do to make the situation better. I want people to listen and try to understand that they would not like it if they were in this position either. I mean, it's extremely difficult, but
Right.
it's
Yeah.
very enlightening, because then you start connecting with people on a different level. You know,
And hear me when I say it started with someone saying something to me that I was angry about. So first I had to deal with that. Like, hold on, don't be angry. Why would someone that you trust say that to you? It's got to be because there's something you're not seeing, right? And just getting to that point is really uncomfortable.
yeah, it is. It's really what, uncomfortable? Was there an adjective you wanted to put there?
No, I was just breathing.
Oh, okay. Just taking a breath, trying to
A breath
listen.
in. Breath in.
So we might test those limits, by the way, because when we get back after this break, we're going to be talking about the Trumpist cult being at it still. And Donald Trump, the leader of said fascist Trumpist cult, is doing more fascist Trumpist cult things. And it's just wonderful. So we'll be talking about that when we get back here right on the breakdown. Don't forget to head on over to crusadechannel.com, live radio the way it should be. And you can also join us on Facebook and Rumble. YouTube, for some reason, isn't picking up. It's their loss. It'll post on there later this week once it's up on Substack. AaronBarker.substack.com. Not only can you subscribe for free, but if you would be so kind as to do a yearly subscription or a 1 month subscription, however you'd like to, your support is extremely appreciated. And also, if you send the best April Fool's joke for Erica to use on her family, you're going to get a free sub as well. So keep it locked in right here on the breakdown. We will see you on the other side. All right, there we go. That is hour one in the can.
I'm gonna step out for 1 sec.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, everybody. All right. Take a moment to say good morning to Audrey. Good morning, Audrey. Hello, Gifted and Gifted Guru. Hello, Curtis. Let's see who else is there. Jay Sparkles. Hey, thank you very much for joining us over there as well on the Rumble chat. And CRM14 and Julie JB, thank you over there as well. Not a lot of activity over in the Crusader Stadium chat room today for some reason. And maybe it's just because it's a Saturday. I'm not sure. But regardless, they're over there. So we will be back momentarily. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the breakdown, everybody. Thanks for staying with us during that break. We greatly appreciate everybody being with us. And let's see what fantastic things we can discuss. Hour one is in the can, and then we all take a can break. So I'm trying out this new software, and I think it's working well. a couple of things we're trying to pick up. YouTube hasn't really been. We haven't really gotten a lot of traction on YouTube. So I like going on YouTube, but I don't necessarily see a lot of viewers over there. One thing I have noticed is that when we were using the Rumble Studio, we had about twice as many listeners. And now that I started using this software to stream to Rumble, we've got about half as many listeners over there. So Rumble has typically been the place where we've been most active and seen the most interaction. So if you're over there listening to us on Rumble, smash that like button like I smash monsters on a Saturday morning, and share the show with other people as well. People you may know, people you don't like. Think of the person you hate the most, and you want to share the show with that person because you just can't stand them. So you send that show to them and say, "Watch this because it's you deserve to be tortured on a Saturday morning." And also, what else was I going to say? Can't remember what I was going to say. But be sure. Oh, Facebook. We are also live on Facebook today, which we haven't been in a while, and we're getting that worked out. So don't forget to like and share it over on Facebook as well. We greatly appreciate that as well. This hour, several of the news stories I want to get to. There was an ad, by the way, Erica, that is from Kentucky Fried Chicken. I know you don't eat out a lot, and you
Oh
probably
no. Wait, did I not send you this? I don't eat out a lot, but I'm yep, go ahead.
okay. So there's a 2 minute long commercial of KFC. I am not playing the full 2 minutes of this, but really, what happens is this guy shows up in the woods, and a bunch of these weirdos are like all circling around. They're carrying a big, huge golden egg, and they're getting over to this lakeside. Yeah. Hey, Erica, if you're transitioning, did you have to stand during that break?
I sat down backwards, Roger. I was practicing.
So uh so this KFC commercial, they have these weird cult peoples dressed in brown, and then they're walking through the woods, and then when they get to the woods, they have this weird encounter thing that happens at the lake. So here is that part of the video, and this is what has people in a bit of an uproar. What in the world was that all about?
Right. Okay.
So many
So
questions.
I deep dove. I deep dove into this.
Really?
I thought I sent you this. Okay, my bad, but I will put it in the link, and we're going to talk about this again because I have to complete an obscene amount of research on this. Okay, they are promoting cannibalism. They are trying to tell you something. They are telling you what is right in front of your face, our faces, all of our faces. And I have found at least one interview that I've listened to. I found more, but I haven't listened to them yet, with this Jewish man who explains where the 300,000 missing children in the country are going every year. And it isn't just into your KFC, it's also into your McDonald's, it's also into your Burger King. McDonald's, they actually admit, is one of their favorite vendors or one of their most popular vendors to buying what is happening. It's a lot.
Wait a second. I think so. You sent me when you said that about where
Did I say, can we
what's
talk
in
about
the
this?
food.
Maybe I didn't.
When you said that about the McDonald's thing, I remember that part. I don't know if it was in relationship to the KFC thing, but when I saw
That was
this,
just the
I
tip of
was
the
like,
iceberg. I
yeah.
started with McDonald's, and then this came out, and then I went down this dive, and I found these people that are talking about, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so it's not
and
just
this
me
is
that
how
thought that this was promoting cannibalism as soon as I saw
mm-mm,
it.
they were like, this is how we're getting rid of the bodies. Uh-huh.
Ugh.
Uh-huh. You don't even know. It is so beyond, and it sounds crazy. And now I feel like our alien guest, research incomplete, people.
Oh boy. So results are inconclusive. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. I don't want to say I know this for a fact, but I am headed down a path that is extremely disturbing, and it shouldn't escape you that we do have hundreds of thousands of children that go missing in this country every year, and that's just in this country. And I don't know, people, if there's lead in my Cheerios, why can I not entertain the fact that the easiest way to dispose of a body, have you not seen fried green tomatoes? Is to have
Yeah,
people eat
that's-
it. I mean, I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry about your Saturday, everyone.
So was it a TikTok that you sent?
I might have that started me looking up this Jewish gentleman. It was a TikTok. Did I send it to you? Maybe I
That's what I'm
didn't.
trying to figure out.
Maybe I didn't, but I definitely saved it because it's part of my research, so I can send it to you.
Okay.
I
Uh,
mean, are you wanting it right now?
no, 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 not right now. I
Okay.
was just looking
Okay.
through our chat, and I was trying to figure out.
I might have no kidding, I might have done it to Beaver After Dark because maybe I thought this was a little much for our audience, but yeah.
Very, very possible. Very, very possible. But if it was a TikTok that you
It
sent
would
to
have
me,
been within the last 5 days,
okay.
so if it's
If it
not
was a
there,
TikTok,
then
it's gone. It's like when I clicked on the TikTok link, it was a gone. It's no longer available, is what it's telling me.
okay.
Yeah, but I thought that as well. I mean, I understand like joking around and stuff, but like when they dipped him in and he came out as a chicken tin or a chicken leg. I'm like, wait just a second. That means they're going to eat this guy. This was a human sacrifice. This was this is cannibalism because they're going to eat this guy. I was super
What?
creepy all the way around. Like, what are they trying to promote? And it really,
Where's the defense of it?
yeah,
What other thing is that? You didn't dip a chicken in the hot oil
right,
river and pull out a chicken wing that was battered and fried. You dipped a person in there, right?
right.
And how is the other person able to stand in there without coming out with their legs fried?
Yes, yes. And it said that here
It's
that
just too much.
According to Decision Marketing, a UK-based news site about advertising, the reason for complaints about the KFC ad varied, with some alleging it was disturbing for children to see a man apparently drowned, while others were offended that the ad appeared to make light of baptism. We are currently assessing these to establish whether there are grounds for further action, but just to be clear, we've not launched an investigation at this stage. A spokesman for ASA told the outlet. Users on the marketing news site Marketing Beat expressed disgust at the ad, while with some calling it disgusting, disgrace, beyond the pale. One user accused the ad of featuring and implying many suspect attitudes, cultism, cannibalism, and grooming. An official press release promoting the ad from KFC UKI described it as an odyssey through the mystical woodland. It noted the large golden egg symbolized a guiding light and provides the captivating beat for the choreographed procession of believers, which is set to an original track. The narrative
I'm
builds to a climax, capturing the anticipation as one of the believers is immersed in a pool of liquid cold gravy and emerges as a perfectly crispy KFC mini filet above the shimmering gravy lake to the cheers of the crowd.
Yeah, and I'm not sure when bubbling gravy was cold, but
Yeah.
okay.
Or when cold gravy was able to deep fry
To
anything.
deep fry anything, right. I mean, I just this is maybe I'm over the pale, but I it's just so
I
how long I just look back, people, look back. How long has it been right in front of our faces that they're telling you? They've been telling us forever what they're doing.
Yeah. They are telling us. They are telling us, and they are, and it really, you think about revelation of the method, how they let you know what's going on, and then they also they reveal in media. I think who was I watching the other day that made the point that the news is all fake, and what they're telling us in the media is true. It's or in the news or movies is all true. So movies have the
Flat Earth
truth.
Dave said that.
Media, yes, that's what it was. Movies have the truth. Media has the lies. It's flipped.
Right.
And but yeah, people are commenting in the Rumble chat. Soylent Green is people. Remember the pink slime from Mickey D's, and
Mhm.
then children nuggets. That's what Curtis says.
I'm telling you, there is a very disturbing religious. This is not. This is somehow. It's somehow Jewish. So far, it's very, very difficult, and I feel like the rabbit hole is too
Just
too
start.
large, but I might need to have at least a little bit more before I do anything with that.
Yes, let's do that. Let's look into that. Send me the info that you have, and then we'll deep dive into that. Maybe do it on a show or something along those lines. Speaking of deep dive, we've got there's a clock. We've got bad theology I want to get into, but I also
All
want to
right.
jump into this real quick because um, this is this is to me the height of not the height. This is just yet another step of apparent fascism and honestly a really blinding way to consider how people will just follow whatever Trump says. So Donald Trump signed in private an executive order behind closed doors on Thursday, directing federal agencies and the Smithsonian to eliminate what the order calls divisive and anti-American content from museums and national parks. The order, called Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History, directed the Vice President and the Secretary of Interior to restore federal parks, monuments, memorials, and statues that have been improperly removed or changed in the last 5 years to perpetuate a false revision history or improperly minimize or disparage certain historical figures or events. The order also directed Vice President J.D. Vance, who is a member of the Smithsonian Board of Regents, to work to eliminate what it claims are improper, divisive, or anti American ideology from the Smithsonian, an institution consisting of 21 museums and 14 education and research centers, as well as the National Zoo. The White House said in the full text of the executive summary that over the past decade, a rewriting of history has cast American milestones in a negative light and therefore directs museums to remove some historical context relating to race and gender. And it added in the future that funds for the organization will be banned for exhibits and programs that degrade shared American values, divide Americans based on race, or promote programs or ideologies inconsistent with federal law. All right. Now, I read this story. The first thing I think about, well, not the first thing I think about, this story exhibits just how jingoistic and silly a lot of these policies or a lot of these executive orders that Trump is trying to pass are doing. These are just platitudes. They are trying to appease the masses of people out there who have this ideological or idealistic, I should say, an idealistic view of America as the greatest country that's ever existed without any flaws. Here in this same passage, it says the order said that the exhibits and programs it seeks to remove undermine the nation's quote unparalleled legacy of advancing liberty, individual rights, and human happiness by casting its success as inherently racist, sexist, oppressive, or otherwise irredeemably flawed. Who is doing revisionist history here? The unparalleled legacy of advancing liberty, individual rights, and human happiness.
Well, we did get rid of slavery.
But we had slavery. How long did it take
So,
the
okay, but so did everybody else. The people used to be cavemen. I mean, you can't expect that civilized to be civilized in the early 1800s. It was what it was, and we didn't sell their people. They sold their own people to us. Was it right? No, but we did get rid of it faster than any other place on the planet. So I think okay. Sometimes you get a little Trump derangement syndrome,
Oh my
but
gosh. They're gonna
it,
lock me up and give me a mental disorder.
it's overboard. I agree with you. It's overkill to say what it's really saying, which is, can we please get rid of the George Floyd and put back the Robert E. Lee? And for reasons whether you agree with that or not, that I agree. I agree with that. I would rather have Robert E. Lee out there and be able to have a conversation about what was good about him, what was bad about him, why the statue is there as part of the history of this country, because it was, than have George Floyd, who it was like, and they ripped down how many statues,
But why
right?
is it but why is it that the president gets to decide what the Smithsonian or what other only because they're receiving federal funding, what the Smithsonian or other museums put up? The president is now dictating or trying to dictate what is or is not acceptable, or what is or is not in line with what they believe American history is. That's revisionist history. If you have that, that's freedom of speech for that museum or for any other institution to say, here is our view of what history is, and here is our view of what has happened, and here is this what happened to George Floyd, which even Dan Bongino said was bullcrap. I remember that distinctly. And Sean Hannity and all those guys were saying how horrible it was that happened to George Floyd. Besides, they put aside what he was or what
No, no,
his
no.
past
Right.
was.
It was
You know,
horrible what happened to him,
yeah.
but he wasn't that isn't what killed him. And the autopsy results came out and proved that. And those poor officers had their lives changed just like he did. And there's no statues to them or
Poor
anything
officers.
like that.
Poor officers. I don't think we should call them poor officers. If we label George Floyd as a criminal, we can't say poor officers for what
He
they did in
didn't
that situation.
die from their treatment
It
of
was
him.
exacerbated by that treatment, right?
Oh,
I
dear
mean, like,
God. Okay.
but was it or was it not exacerbated by the treatment?
I think he would have died that day regardless with what was found in his system and what was found to be the actual cause of death, whether he came into contact with them or not, he would not have survived that day.
Well, we don't know.
That's conjecture. You're right. But you also don't know that what they did killed him. And the actual results say it didn't. So I do feel bad for them.
I hear
Yeah,
you, and I
I do feel
appreciate that
bad
you
for
say
them.
that. I hear you, Erica, and I acknowledge you, and I see you with that statement.
I mean, I just think in the same way that people can get crazy about what Biden said or every move that he made, every statement that he make, every executive order, everything, and they react to it because you can easily use any type of bias that you have to read every executive order as way over the top, right? And there is some amount of you have to do that because of the point that we're in. You have to say every little thing. You have to cover every possibility in order to make your point because everything is just a bunch of verbal legalese that means nothing, right? And it should be frustrating to both sides. But
And
I have no problem with someone saying, I'm all for going back to actual history. Like, where and not the glorification of American heroes that we now know were not all that, right? And let's include Martin Luther King in that, and let's include all the other American heroes in that and what we have come to know about them, as well as appreciating the effect, both beneficial and bad, that they had on our history. But
yeah,
am for going back. Right? I don't want my sidewalks painted in rainbows out of respect for any one group. I don't want that's not American history.
so the I think the point about this that bothers me so much is that Trump is dictating or having a group of people, JD Vance, dictating here or trying to run a, a a campaign to remove what they feel disparages America and put in what they feel makes America appear as fantastic. Hasn't the entire argument been with, if we just back up to however many presidents you want to go to, but let's just back up to George W. Bush. George
Right?
W. Bush, 9/11 happened shortly after. The Patriot Act was passed after that under a Republican, not a conservative president, but a Republican president. And then we had it perpetuated again under Obama, and then yet again it was re-upped by Republicans and Democrats as well, all the way up until now. We have had for the past, well, since COVID hit, we have had people telling us that our government is running a child prostitution ring, abducting children, that it's turning into cannibalism, and like you were saying previously, that children's bodies are disappearing and showing up in our hamburgers and chicken. We have our rights are being taken away by the Patriot Act and by the National Defense Authorization Act, which is what the Patriot Act became. We also have our rights being taken away because we're told we have to have certain juices injected into our body, or we have to have face masks that we wear.
Okay, but
Churches
why are you so mad at Trump? Like,
because what
you
I'm saying,
have to
what I'm
know.
saying, and all I'm getting there. What I'm saying, all of this is that we have been talking about how America is and how the government is taking away our rights on a systemic level at every level, on the state and federal level, and then we have the unparalleled legacy of advancing liberty, individual rights, and human happiness. You
Okay,
can't have it both ways. You can't say,
it's not both ways. Both sides have to be able to look at this kind of thing and say, "Okay, that is highly inflammable. It's way over the top, and it's not any more beneficial than Biden doing an executive order." But instead of I mean, you're going to have a group that's to the far on either side, right?
right?
You have to be able to look at that and go, "Okay, well, executive orders don't actually really have all that power unless they're put into law." And it's not really ever gonna be based on feeling. It's an executive order to make those people out there that are all for Trump and no matter what he says feel really good about it. But the majority of the people are like, cool. It's not really gonna have that much of an effect on it, except that it's doing exactly what they want it to do to you. Because when you get inflamed about it, then it inflames the people on the far end who want all that fascism, who want all that full control, who want it all based on what we feel is right and what we think is right. And when you react to it like that, they get inflamed. And right now, that doesn't work well for anybody.
So I should just ignore the situation. I
No,
shouldn't
but
say that because other people because that's what happens. Like when you
I
bring
want you
this
to
topic
say
up,
it, but I want you to take a breath.
wha-
Like,
wha- wha-
nobody's gonna react to people you calling people crazy, right? If you were trying to influence the people that are over there that are way far on the TDS syndrome, either side, too far on his side or too far on the other side, don't we need to stop using words like crazy? Don't
you,
we need to just calm the hell down and say, listen, can we talk common sense for a minute?
you did tell me like right at the beginning of all this that I had Trump derangement syndrome. That really
Yes,
that hurt my
because
feelings
you
there.
get so worked up over it.
Well, why wouldn't I? Because we and what angers me about this is that you cannot you cannot, unfortunately, have a mature conversation about this with people because the moment that you say what Trump is doing is not at that point, people shut you down. You
But I feel
cannot
like
in this type of our conversation with these diehard Trumpists and diehard Trump worshipers and diehard Trump cultists, you cannot in any way disagree with what Trump is doing
I
because if you do,
understand.
that shuts the conversation down.
But I think buying into making that the conversation about the statues in the Smithsonian, I mean, who even knows that what's even there was ever a relic in the first place at this point, right? I
Yeah.
mean, none of it could be real. That's what we're going to be mad about. We have some serious things going on.
That's what he's doing. That's what this entire executive order is
But
about.
by us
This isn't
talking
me
about
just
it
looking
is
something up.
but we're buying into it by getting upset about it and making it an issue that about this executive order instead of looking at what actually is going on.
Yeah, but this is a broader implication. This is a broader issue that we're facing here. This is a broader issue, and I think it's a part of selling this. It is the right doing exactly what they accuse the left of doing. Back when
It absolutely is.
okay, so
It absolutely is. I
awesome.
don't disagree with that.
So it is removing statues that you don't agree with because it hurts your sensibilities, and
Right.
it is rewriting history to make it appear that America has always been on the side of personal liberty and always been on the side of advancing
It
human
doesn't
dignity
say
and
that.
rights.
That's how
Yeah,
you interpreted it.
no,
It
that's a
said
quote. That's a quote. It
it
says
is
it right here,
unparalleled. We do have an
unparalleled legacy of
unparalleled.
advancing
Yep.
liberty, individual rights,
Yes.
and human happiness. That's
We
bull.
do have an unparalleled legacy to that. Tell me who else has the same. Tell me who else.
You know what? I don't know what you know what? I don't know enough about history. I'll say that right now. But to say that, I would say that our history is not unparalleled. I'll say that our history is not. Nobody has a history of advancing liberty, individual rights, and human happiness in a way that makes it appear that they are the spearhead of that movement. I don't
Except
see that.
Jesus.
the
I
the
mean,
majority of and this is another thing that makes me mad. People talk out of both sides of their mouth on this. Either America is run by a cabal, a secret society, a dark underbelly, the deep state, or it's the greatest nation ever. You can't have it both ways. If it's advancing liberty and unparalleled legacy of individual rights, then you can't say we're run by 300 people in a dark cabal. Please tell me how that
I
how
think
that
that 300 people run the whole world,
so okay, so
not
then
just the United States, right? I think the
yeah,
cabal is a worldwide and this isn't me, you guys. I'm just saying this is my understanding of the difference between the two, right? Is the talking out of the other side of your mouth is that you, that we didn't know, right? Like you have the majority of Americans who actually believe in freedom, individual rights, the Constitution, the founding fathers, what their intentions were. And so you have a couple hundred years of majority of Americans actually believing that that's why we are all here. So you can still be and have the thought of this is the greatest nation on the planet and it is being controlled by one evil set of SOBs that we need to take control of. Or need to crack down or need to dismantle. I can see how that happens.
All right. You can leave your comments in chat right there. Rumble. Also, you can go to crusadechannel.com live radio the way it should be. And that is where you can place your comments there as well in the chat room. Let's see here. Let's look at this here. We got some comments over there. We're
Curtis.
going to be taking a break real quick. Let's see. It says here. Trump is executive now. CRM 114. Trump is the executive now, the one who executes laws as the CEO of the federal government. Kaiser says, you need to realize, Aaron Barker, you need to realize that the march to this point started long ago. The only thing that has changed is the technology that can be used to spy on you and to keep you in check. Remind me what you're talking about there, Kaiser, because we did say a lot there. Let's see. And it says, here we go. CRM 114 said it's okay to not like or disagree with the policy. 100%. JB says, seen on Twitter, Trump is trying to push a very restrictive definition of anti-Semitism. And Kaiser said it's ruled by the Pentaveret. The Kaiser said it's the Gettys, the Rothschilds, the royal family, the Pope, and Colonel Sanders.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the Pope. The Vatican, yes.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
our
All right,
Pope
folks.
right now is a bit of a
He's a bit of a shell right now. All right,
I don't
folks, we're going
want
to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to be talking about this and more right here on the breakdown. We're going to be jumping into bad theology, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So keep it locked in with us. Don't forget, head on over to aaronbarker.substack.com and sub on there. You can also check us out on Rumble. If you go to Rumble and like and share the program, if you're over there, please do so. If you're watching on Facebook, Toby, who is one of our founders, one of our freaky founders, actually did share the show over on Facebook because he loves us. I guess nobody else does. Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Toby.
you, everybody. We appreciate that, Toby. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, this and more right here on the breakdown. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Monsters killing me.
You shouldn't be drinking Monster during a show. Why doesn't he turn his camera off when he leaves? Are any of you guys out there musicians? Because obviously we need to do something about our music and copyright. So if any of our loyal listeners play the electric guitar or have any interest in doing some intros and outros, message Aaron. Or if you know anyone that would do that or like to do that. I let them know that we're looking for volunteers to do intro and outro music.
What?
I said I let everybody know that if they are good with an instrument and are interested in producing some intros and outros to let us know, or if they know anyone who would want to do some original tracks for you. So
Beautiful. I love it.
maybe somebody will know someone. We should ask Timmy.
There you go. I know what Timmy would do, though. He would do it through Suno or whatever that is.
No, no, no. Ask him to, like, he's got musician friends. Yeah. What? No.
Okay. Well, here we go, folks. We welcome back to the breakdown. Now it is time for the segment that I love doing, and that everybody, I think, I tell myself that people love this segment. You're not going to hear anything during this segment, Erica, but rest assured, from what I gather from everybody else out there, it is heard. So I'm going to go
I
ahead and play
see
it.
it.
Here we go. You're teaching some bad theology. Your bad theology's annoying. All right, I think it worked. Let's try one more time. You didn't see it? Okay. Yoshi. All right, so there we go. So, bad theology right here on the breakdown. This is where we talk about really bad theology, an in-depth look at bad theology in churches, culture, politics, and everywhere else. I want to give an update on this. We did have Kansas Helen on the show last week, who told us about the Satanic Grotto doing a black mass inside the Capitol building in Kansas, and they were told they could not do that. It was absolutely horrible, total terrible wrongness, etc. What they ended up doing was they did end up having they tried to. So here is the leader, the Satanic Grotto president. He entered the Kansas City State House. And well, here's what happened here. And I'd like everybody to kind of, I'm going to go ahead and open this up here so we can see this. Wrong one. There we go. Here we go. So here is what happened as he entered into the state house this past yesterday.
Before the mighty and ineffable prince of darkness, Jesus Christ is King. In the presence of all the dread demons of the pit, and in this assembled company, I acknowledge and confess my past. I acknowledge and confess my past.
All right, so there's the part of it so far, Erica. What do you think about what we just saw there? For those people that are listening and didn't see that, so the Satanic Grotto president was stating in the State House. He began to he lifted up his arms. He was holding a couple of things. One of them was a prayer book. He started to pray to Satan, to essentially consecrate the state building to Satan, and they were trying to stop him. People were in his face. They were saying, "You're not allowed to do that. He doesn't have permission to do that." And then somebody tried to at least twice tried to grab items out of his hands. And the second time that this person did that, they grabbed the item out of his hand, and the Satanic Grotto president punched him. And I tried to. I don't think he landed the first one, but then the second one he landed it, and then the cops tackled him and arrested him and took him out of the place because he assaulted someone, is what they're saying. That's the story that they're saying.
So, okay, so if he didn't have a permit, he should not have been there. That's correct, right? You
Yeah,
can't just
because free
walk
speech
in.
requires a permit. I understand that.
If you're in that building and that's their rules, come on, Aaron. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. In a country
he
that
should
has
have.
an unparalleled history of advancing personal rights and individual liberty, a permit for free speech is exactly what
If you want to hold a
supposed to be.
ceremony in a place of business during business hours, you should have to get a permit. I'm sorry. I'm all for free speech, but there's nothing wrong with asking someone to make an appointment.
Wasn't that but this is public as opposed to private, right?
It
But
doesn't
why did
matter.
they shut him down in the
That's a
first place?
public space of business, right? So you're showing up in the rotunda during business hours, and if everybody, you have to apply for a permit, no matter what your cause is.
So do people on January 6th have a permit to go into the state house, into the Capitol? Because like that same argument would decimate the support for anybody there. I mean,
You
they all put
announced
resolution
that you
across.
were holding a public event inside the building. You don't think you need to let people know? Number one. Number two, they have the right to know. You have the right to protest, but people have the right to know. It's not spontaneous. You're planning this. You're
I
putting
am
it out all over social media. It's
Yeah.
not like it just happened. It's not organic. Okay. You're planning it and your whole side gets to know about it. Are you saying that the people that you're planning on putting on this spectacle for because of equal religious freedom that you're not willing to go through the same process that anybody else who wanted to make that kind of presentation in the public forum would have to go through,
Well,
which they would,
they well
right?
they did have they did go through that process. They
And
tried to
did
get their permits, and it was they said that they stole property, and that because they had planned on destroying stolen property, that it was illegal for them to advertise it, illegal for them to carry through, and all of that has come out as incorrect. There was nothing
okay.
on testimony that
So they should have been granted a permit, right? I mean, what about that says, okay, instead of proving we were prevented from getting a permit, how hard is it to find a lawyer out there that will defend you against the state at this point? They're on every freaking corner. They're like ambulance chasers. Okay. They could have easily gone through the process and found somebody to make a legal case of this. Could have been a giant spectacle, happened everywhere. There was nothing going on in there except for cameras. What was that child doing there? There were no
yeah.
church members there, and the cops let it happen until somebody threw fisticuffs. Is this hockey? What were they doing?
You know what? That was one of the questions that I initially had. They did try to stop the first time that guy reached for the articles in the person's hand. They tried to stop that. I did see that.
He's
Um,
wrong though. So like you can't stop them from coming in. I'm not saying they did it correctly. You can't stop them from coming in. You can't stop them from making a spectacle out of it. You can't stop the cameras. Unless it's illegal to have recording devices, which it obviously isn't because people have phones out,
right.
right? You
Mhm.
can't stop any of that from happening. But the officials in that building and how they're running that are the ones who are to blame for anything getting physical. That never should have happened.
I agree. And now going back to the permit section of this, if this were Christians that wanted to go in there and to pray, if this were somebody that wanted to go in there and spread information about what they feel is happening in the state office, they should have the right to do so.
Right.
Denying somebody a permit because you made up lies about what they were going to do, and
Well,
you
that's wrong.
that's
I
the way to
mean,
stop.
so
Absolutely.
you're saying it came out and has been proven that they did not steal the consecrated host from anywhere.
From what I've researched, and if somebody has different information about that, yes, I mean from my research, they brought a motion against the attorney general that said that, and it was proven that they actually did not steal anything, and they didn't admit to stealing anything, nothing along those lines.
Right.
But I have a big problem, and I have a big problem with people saying here is free speech corner. You can exercise free speech during these hours. You can exercise free speech if we give you a permit to exercise.
Okay, I didn't I understand how that came out, right? I'm just
Yeah, I
saying
mean, I'm not getting on to you about it because other people would believe what you said there. So I'm
I
not.
understand that that came out, and Gifted Guru in the chat says that the J6ers had permits. Now, I do know that they had permits to gather at the rally where they were with Trump. I don't know beyond that, so I can't say yes or no. Um, and obviously, I am seeing a difference between storming a building to stop a process of having an election stolen and storming a building to I mean, you didn't storm that building with his entire Satanic Grotto congregation trying to have a ceremony in the Capitol building to exhibit religious freedom. That is not what happened there.
Um,
That is
so
not what happened there.
were you talking about what happened in Kansas or what happened on J6?
What happened, in Kansas? That was not a church storming the building, demanding the right to be heard, demanding the right to have their permit approved, or demanding the right to hold the ceremony right then and there. That was not what that was. There were more cameramen there. Cameramen, you guys, with full on boom covered mics hanging out. This was planned. It's a spectacle, and it should be disgusting to anybody who's actually worshiping something.
You
If
know,
they really believe that.
and those other folks, those scammers and such that were there as well. Those are probably by the people that were praying in Christ's name, by that small woman that was in front of him, trying to stop him as well.
Yeah,
Um,
and the guy who laid hands on him trying to grab stuff out of his hands, no, you're just as wrong. You're just as wrong as him coming and starting that under the guise of free speech, knowing that you're doing nothing but causing a spectacle.
And over here in the chat room on the Crusader Stadium chat, Kaiser said on a side note, the First Amendment only guarantees your free speech rights in regards to one entity, the U.S. federal government. At the state level, it would fall under the Constitution of the specific state and only covers you in your interaction with the various levels of government in that state. And I agree 100% with that. I've said that for years. I learned that from the Crusade Channel, from Mike Church, and the incorporation doctrine. That's not how we're operating right now, though. Until we get, we can continue to advocate for that and fight for that. We're not operating under that principle right now. We are operating, unfortunately, under the insurrection or the incorporation doctrine. Before we let's see, we got a little bit of time left here. This is going to be this will cause a nice little wrinkle in a lot of people here, and I hope it does. This is the may I remind everyone that we're about to watch the video of Paula White, who is the spiritual advisor to King Donald Trump, the magistrate Donald Trump, the one, the only Messiah Trump.
God,
Messiah.
so ridiculous. You're so far over the edge. It's almost like you're trying to cloak your TDS syndrome in righteousness, and it just keeps getting ripped open. Like,
You're not allowed to tell me that I'm crazy or that I have TDS, because that
I
doesn't help
didn't
advance
say.
the argument.
First of all, I did not. I said we need to stop using words like that.
Yes, you did. Here we go. Now you tell me whether or not you like this. This is what Paula White is actively offering, and this has been her MO for years, even before she cheated on her husband and stole money from Journey.
And I believe that when you honor God on Passover, starting on April 12th at sundown through Good Friday on the 18th and concluding on Easter Sunday, you can receive these 7 supernatural blessings for you and your house. According to Exodus 23, God will assign an angel to you. He'll be an enemy to your enemies. He'll give you prosperity. He'll take sickness away from you. He will give you long life. He'll bring increase in inheritance, and he'll give a special year of blessing. You're not doing this to get something, but you're doing it in honor to God, realizing what you can receive.
For your special Passover offering of $1,000 or more as the Holy Spirit leads, you will also receive the beautiful 10-inch Waterford Crystal Cross. Don't miss your moment to release 7 supernatural blessings and provision into your life.
But you're not doing it to get something. You're doing it to honor God. You're not doing it for the 7 spiritual gifts of having God assign an angel to you, be an enemy to your enemies, give you prosperity, take away sickness, give you long life, cause increase for you, and a special year of blessing. I wonder if any of those blessings manifest themselves in facelifts, plastic surgery, because it looks like, Paula White has had a lot of work done. Her eyes were never that squinty. I've known Paula White for 25 plus years. Her eyes were never that squinty. The tighter her face gets, like the harder it's going to be for her. Pretty soon she's going to talk like this. She's going to sound like Joan Collins. But, and you can also tell in the hands as well. But
I thankfully am not familiar with her, thankfully. So I don't know how much tighter her face looks now versus what she maybe looked like before. But yeah, we're not going to use that word. She's challenged. She's mentally challenged.
Back in the
And
background, by the way, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think there's who does this? This is like LaToya Jackson on the Psychic Channel.
Yes, that's a good point to bring up. See
I
that back
don't.
here, by the way, that this is that I'm 99.9% sure that's Jonathan Cain right there. And Jonathan Cain is a keyboardist for Journey. That's who she married now.
What?
Yeah, she married. So Jonathan Cain is from Journey. He plays the keyboards for them. She
Don't stop
married.
believing.
Yeah, exactly. She married him, and then somehow had her name put on Journey's accounts, and then has like siphoned off hundreds of thousands of dollars. To the point that Neil Sean is sued to have her name removed from the accounts and to find out what the crap is going on. Like, he's like, we didn't give her permission to access Journey. Gosh, Journey has got to have. Their net worth is incredible. But
Well,
like,
maybe
she
not
signed
anymore.
yeah, because she got a hold of it. But so now this is the same garbage that she's preached. She used to do this, and I think it's I know that she's done this. Rod Parsley used to do this, probably still does. But this is the MO for prosperity preachers. They will find 7 principles or 7 ideas, and then they'll attach a monetary amount to it, and then tell you that by giving this or sowing this amount into their ministry, you will then receive these spiritual blessings, evidently from God. Now, the blessings can be in different ways. It could be jobs and better jobs. There's this one church I know that does an offering declaration, and it's like we're believing God for jobs and better jobs and checks in the mail and all this stuff, and it's like it's just quoting fingers sowing a seed into a ministry where God will give you back blessings because you're giving the church money.
Okay,
It is manipulative, it is abusive, and it is anti-biblical garbage.
to me, I see this as no different, although everybody looks at it different, right? But once again, right? We're expecting a human being, this woman
Yeah.
who's obviously flawed in many ways, to hold herself responsible for her actions instead of holding everyone who sends in $1,000 responsible for that kind of stuff, right? So the opposite, the difference where I'm trying to say I don't get the overlap is, let's say, quick example, porn star. If it was a porn star and she's making a bunch of money from people watching her porn, I'm blaming the guy who's watching porn, and he needs to do something about his evil behind, and and he's the one with the problem. She is unfortunate, somehow victimized. Too bad she thought she had to turn to that. She needs Jesus. This woman is just manipulative, and she's blamed versus the people that are watching her that are believing this garbage and contributing it to it.
But don't you think that spiritual manipulation is a deeper and more gruesome sin? Because there are a lot of people growing up, and my parents, and I have to add this caveat. My parents were not like this. But growing up, the ambiance, the belief in the Pentecostal church and the organization I was in was that the pastor is the guy. If you speak against the pastor, you're speaking against God's man. You're talking against God's anointed. Touch not the Lord's anointed. You're not allowed to disagree with the pastor. You're not allowed to present anything that makes him look silly or to call him to task. You're not allowed to do that. And when you are manipulated and indoctrinated to believe that this person is carrying a message. Now, I'm not saying that personal responsibility isn't part of this. If you're drinking Kool-Aid literally and you're unaliving yourself because of that, yes, there is a certain amount of personal responsibility, but there's also a disgusting amount of responsibility that we place on these people because one person has been able to cast a manipulative spell on all ages of all types of people to make them believe that because of their personal knowledge and their extended or deep knowledge of God, they have been told by the Holy Spirit that if you give them this money, you will receive these blessings. It takes advantage of people that may be you know, uh, not that may be in poverty level homes. They may be in poverty stricken houses. One of the things that Christian ministers like this use to manipulate others is you're living in lack. You're lacking all the blessings and all the things that God could be doing for you. So I believe that even though there is personal responsibility, and I agree with you on that, on a level like this, where they are using the Bible to manipulate people, that adds an additional layer of disgust because you're taking advantage of folks that don't have your level of biblical knowledge, that don't have the level of, or they don't believe they have the level of supernatural understanding that you claim to have.
Claim
Yes,
being the
claim
key,
to have.
claim being the key word, right? I
Yes,
mean, yeah, I s- it's like people who pay psychics a bunch of money,
right, right.
or people who maybe I just can't sort of grasp because I've never been led by fear. Or no, wait, that's not true because fear is very powerful and it does influence many decisions, but maybe not paralyzed by it. I don't know how to characterize what I'm saying. Do you um
You're good. I mean, like, so you're saying you have a hard time empathizing with people that would send an obvious uh, snake oil salesman like
No,
this.
I empathize with them. I'm just saying I don't suffer from that, so maybe I can't sympathize with it because I can't imagine myself ever being terrified enough of not being in God's favor if I didn't send $1,000.
Gotcha.
Like, I just can't conceptualize me being afraid, like, "Oh, maybe I should send a grand." Like, I don't see me so
Yeah.
maybe I can't feel it, and in that way, maybe that fear is very influential,
Yeah.
and that is very manipulative, and it's wrong, but it's wrong in the way that your therapist can destroy you, or in the way that even, your priest can destroy you, right? I mean, it's no different. I don't, but it is wrong. I think what you're saying though is it's extra egregious because it involves biblical manipulation.
Yes, and anything that that to me involves any religious manipulation, because people are afraid of dying because they don't know
Right.
what's on the other side, and people go to churches to hear the man of God or the woman of God preach to them a message because they don't know all of what's in the Bible.
Or
That's
because
why.
they're told they have to go there.
Yeah, and even the Bible in Hebrews holds teachers more accountable. It says, and this is a paraphrased Aaron Barker perversion, that teachers will be held to a higher account because you have a higher responsibility. Because what you say and what you teach, you're telling people, I have taken the appropriate time, I have studied the depths of this, and I am conveying to you what I understand. That's why, to be honest with you, I think the majority of pastors that are out there are ill-equipped. They are not suitable to be pastors
Well, that's
because. Oh, go
well,
ahead.
go ahead. What's your
No,
because?
because anybody can claim, and this is one of the things that a lot of our Catholic brothers and sisters will be like, "Yep, see, told you," and I do believe that this is a strong case for that. Is that with after the Reformation, the Bible was essentially which is I think a great thing. The Bible was put into the hands of the layperson. Well, now since it's in the hands of the layperson, anybody can start a church. You don't need the authority or the apostolic succession that the Catholic Church claims to have. You don't need that to start a church. Therefore, any person can grab a Bible and say, if I pick up a snake and let it bite me, or I drink the liquid that's not good for me, if I do silly things in the name of God because I believe in faith, that means I'm going to get XYZ. That's why you get parachurch ministries that base their entire ministries on the fact that Genesis 1 through 11 is a literal interpretation. And if you don't believe that Adam and Eve were a real person and that there was a real tree and a real piece of fruit and a real serpent that really spoke to Eve and really deceived Adam, etc., that you can't go to heaven. And that's why we have this understanding that the fight between science and religion, because you have people that take the Bible and they try to apply their spin and their understanding of Scripture to somebody else. And that's why the Bible says this: you're held to a higher account because you're saying, I know things about the afterlife. I know things that will save or damn your eternal soul. You need to listen to me. And the majority of pastors out there do not have the proper education to be able to make those types of statements.
I can't speak to if the why is what you say, right? Where the Bible was put into the hands of lay people and therefore we're in this situation. I don't know about that as the why, because I don't know enough about that
Hey, no
to say
problem.
that that's true. But I do know that it is a perversion of the authority of the church's leaders in every way. Um, people put more authority in their doctor, more authority in their governor, more authority in the government, in their politicians, in their mayor, in their sheriff. Um, they put more authority in all of those titles than they do into the leader of their church. And in that way, those leaders haven't been held accountable in a very long time. And they can do whatever they say and please, and they can base it on their God given right. And it's kind of gross.
Yeah, it is beyond manipulative. And just to throw in there, I'm sorry, I think it's my my advanced TDS by what Erica's saying. I think that in there, the judgment of President Trump is called into question to have
Can you
somebody
guys
like this
check on me this week?
advisor.
Because if I disappear, you need to look straight at Aaron.
Erica will no longer be on the show with us because I mean, but that it does. I do question. I'm like, hold on just a second. That's who you're going to use as your spiritual advisor. I could to be honest with you, I don't even know if I would name anybody to be a spiritual advisor at this
I
point.
wouldn't. I
Uh,
mean, who's yeah, that's a that and if you did that's a horrible choice. And truly, in that way, I would say anyone who comes out and says, "Oh no, that's fine." That doesn't really mean he's influenced by her. Um, he doesn't have to listen to her for her to be the White House spiritual advisor.
yeah.
Or whatever reason, right? He promised the journey guy that and he would have her, right? Whatever it is, whatever it is, there's no excuse for it. There's no defense in it. There's no way you can say that anybody who says that you reacting to that is not Trump derangement syndrome. That is not. That
Right.
woman shouldn't be anywhere near anyone of authority over other people in any way ever. There.
I agree with that. Don't forget now. We might run out of time over on the on Crusade channel, but I'm going to continue because there's one quick story I want to cover before we take off. But if you are, head on over to the Crusade channel, live radio the way it should be. Check out the fantastic shows that they offer over there. Support them. Let them know that you heard about that right here on the breakdown. Also, go to aaronbarker.substack.com. I would love to see more subs over at aaronbarker.substack.com. It makes me really happy. It's a little dopamine hit for my ADHD brain whenever I see that little like over there, that subscribe over there, and it makes me even happier when somebody pays for this. That's awesome. The
Send
evil
me your
devil
April Fools
and send Erica. Yeah.
tags, and you could win a subscription.
Yes, send Erica the it's a win-win situation. You know, it's a win-win situation. So make sure you send all those to Erica. You can DM her, or you can put it here on the just slide into her DMs, or just put it over here on the comment section on the Rumble channel or Facebook. And if you're listening to us on the Crusade channel, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. I wanted to get before we take off. I wanted to talk about the Snow White
I
movie.
was gonna say, shouldn't we do Snow White since it was the title of the show?
Yes, super. I buried the lead on that big time, and I was trying not to, but I mean, it's one of I always hate naming the show, and then like because I don't want to name the show and then cover the article like right at the beginning, but then we get into such great conversations that I name the show, and I'm like, crap, I got to throw it on there at the end.
Forgot to talk about Snow White.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Deb, thanks for joining us over there. So here's have you been following any of this stuff that's going on with Snow White?
Of course. How can you not? I mean, it started with the CGI dwarves way back in the day when they had the original dwarves that were people. And then those got so lambasted on social media, they had to make them CGI. So yeah, I've been watching this girl. She's unbelievable.
I don't understand the whole thing about Disney being, people are accusing Disney of being woke, but in this instance, in this situation, like they could actually use people who like Peter Dinklage was very critical of this. He's like, why are you using CGI? You have people that you can employ, and they're like, oh, we don't want to cast them, we don't want to typecast them. It's like they're playing the hand that they're dealt. Like
Yeah.
Peter Dinklage has a fantastic career, and
Have
it's
you not
based on
seen
that stuff.
I told you how much money those micro midget wrestlers are making. Come
Yeah.
on now.
I mean, and you look at Dinklage, who actually did Elf, and he
Oh,
was
I know. Yes, there are actors, of course, right?
yes,
I'm not saying that you should go to the wrestling circuit and start pulling midgets off to make them the dwarfs. But correct, right? I don't think even though we now know that well, no, the original Oompa Loompas were a group of people, right? The second Oompa Loompa was all one. In the Johnny Depp version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, that was one guy.
no way, I did not know that.
Oh, you should watch a documentary on that's amazing. Really.
Really? Did you
Yeah,
like that
all
one?
one dude.
Did you like that one? The Johnny Depp version?
I thought it was actually closer to the darkness of the book
Yeah.
versus the Willy Wonka version, which was kind of la la la. Like they didn't really touch on how dark it was, and I thought the Depp version got closer to that, but I don't think it was for children.
The that was one of the movies that I watched growing up, like that was in my VCR. constantly. Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles, Toxic Avenger, Goonies, and
Oh,
Willy Wonka and
Goonies
the
was
Chocolate
great.
Factory.
I just didn't know. I don't know that like my kids didn't, because I have access to both. When I was growing up, it was the Gene Wilder version.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that came out. The Johnny Depp was when I was an adult.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
I
for
definitely
me that was different, and I was like, the kids were like, "Whoa, totally different." Like this is not your Gene Wilder, and it was
Yep.
a lot closer to the book. And my daughter's a real Edgar Allan Poe type horror fan, so
Oh, yeah.
she likes that. She liked it better than the original, right? Kind of
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, and she. What I don't understand, I don't know this Rachel chick. Like there was some controversy going on between them trying to say that the Wonder Woman chick. I don't want to butcher her name, Gail
Gail Gadot.
Gadot,
Gail
however you
Gadot.
say it.
Gail Gadot.
Um,
Gal
that
Gadot.
it was going to be her fault if the movie flopped because she had some bad publicity back when and she did something that made people angry and then they put her in this movie and they were trying to blame it on her and she was saying nothing and then Rachel goes out and just explodes it and it shows everything that happened behind the scenes that it was her. I don't know. She's so young to be that narcissistic.
It was over the Israel-Palestine thing.
Yeah.
Like, because Gal Gadot served in the Israeli
Oh,
forces.
you mean that was where her bad publicity came from? Yeah.
Yes. So and
Okay.
then so you have and I believe that it's also I believe that this is the woke derangement syndrome. Anything that falls within the parameters that that conservatives feel violates their sensibilities now becomes wokeism and everything is accused on that. I
Right.
actually there was a post that somebody posted out on Facebook that I shared and made some corrections to. This person said the Snow White remake is meant to be more than woke. It is meant to destroy the beauty and innocence of the original. It's what the left does. So my response to that was, all right, you want to talk about destroying the beauty of the original. Let's talk about the beauty of the original. 3 times. And now we're talking about the Grimm
I
brothers.
was like, "Are you
Brothers
talking
Grimm.
about the Disney original or the
Yes.
original original?"
We're
'Cause
talking about
yeah.
the original. Here's
Okay.
Brothers Grimm. 3 times the queen attempted to unalive Snow White. One by tightening her corset to where she couldn't breathe, one by poisoning a comb, and another one by the poisoned apple. All right.
Right.
The huntsman was ordered to bring back Snow White's lungs and liver, which the queen planned to consume.
Yeah.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, when she shows up at the house, they say she can stay there in exchange for her doing all of the work, the housework, etc. So she was essentially
A
an
servant.
indentured servanthood. All right.
Right. For
Uh,
and gar and as a guarantee for her safety and them hiding her. They she yes.
and,
Yeah, she was the maid.
exactly. And then in the queen's death, she was forced to wear red hot iron shoes and dance until she dies. Snow White wakes up not by true love's first kiss. She wakes up because the servants of the prince dropped her casket and it dislodged the piece of poison apple in her throat. So you have cannibalism, brutal revenge, pure horror, and on top of that, Snow White was 7 years old when she was claimed to be the fairest of them all.
Right.
And in the Disney movie, that people are saying that she was 14. She was 14 or older.
Right.
All right. So people want to talk about, they're like, "Well, let's preserve the original." You know, what you're talking about is preserving I don't want to say whitewash, but a fantasy washed version of the actual original. You don't care about conservatism. You care about an animated movie that came out in 1937. Now, you want to talk about things that don't matter. Does this really matter in the
I
grand
ca
scheme of things what
what
Disney
I
does for a freaking movie?
no, about as much as okay, I go about as much as okay, no, as you were worried about Trump's executive order. So here's the thing. It's like if you're gonna call it Snow White and she was the fairest in the land, I mean, she's not even white. So just say that you're not gonna like, it's a remake. Don't make it out to be holding to the classic. Just remake
Right.
it. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Just
Right?
start it over, reboot it, and do go a completely different direction.
Right. And by the way, just don't call it Snow White because it's now different. You can use the same story. You can have dwarves, you can have the prince, you can have all, but by the way, they changed all that, right? They made enough changes that you could have just said it's the remake of Snow White and where it can even be the woke version, but it's not called Snow White.
Yeah, it could be, Snow White reimagined, or there's another one. There's another movie called Mirror Mirror, and it is let's see here.
Is
Um
it the Queen's version?
it is
That would be cool.
okay, Mirror Mirror. Let me see what it's about here real quick, because the Mirror Mirror updated the Snow White story while honoring the original. So this came out in 23. It says Mirror Mirror modernizes Snow White without discarding her desire for romance. Some of the comments made by the leads of Disney's upcoming Snow White cast dispersions on the 37 original, saying the princess focuses too much around her prince. Disney has made it clear that its new version will make Snow White have more girl boss energy, leaving fans to speculate how much of a role the prince will actually play. Commentators have taken to social media to ask why not both. Many members of Snow White's targeted female audience praised Barbie for having a lead that was just a stereotypical Barbie, not anything super special and representative of an everyday woman. And and that is two things I'd like to point out. You have Barbie that is talking about trying to be everyday woman, and it's Margot Robbie, and then you have cast in the new Snow White, this Rachel Ziegler, and the evil queen, who is not the fairest of them all, being Gal Gadot. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, so it appears that Mirror Mirror is an updated version of this essentially. And let's see. So yeah, so they were saying in response to this that what was the article saying here? I can't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, it's let's see. Much of the
Oh, that
problems
the
with most
other one was a better adaptation,
yeah,
a
it
better
was.
and a better update.
And it was a different name.
Mhm.
It was spoken of differently. It was talked about differently. It was hyped up differently.
Right.
And the thing that really gets me about this is we're constantly being told there are more important things happening. All right. There are more important things going on. And right now, people are throwing a fit over a Disney movie. And
Okay.
conservatives evidently hate Disney and they don't want them to succeed, but now they're going to throw a fit because, oh, that's wokeism causing this. How about
No,
the actual movie
it's a
just
huge
suck?
waste of time. It's a huge waste of time, but I can tell you this girl brought this on. Nobody would have gone to see it and it would have been a non-issue. It really, right? She did this to herself.
Yeah,
She
it
did
would
this
have.
to herself. She forced people to react to her. You couldn't let that go. It was so pathetic and unbelievable, right? That you just couldn't let it go. And I mean, it's worth the reaction. It doesn't even have so much to do with Disney as it does. I think they're falsely blaming wokeism instead of blaming her because she was really the reason that nobody went to see it. Because when you say, no matter what I do, no matter what I say, people are going to come out to see me. Guess what? The first thing I'm not going to do is come out to see you.
Well, here's my TDS again, I guess. But when Trump said that he could stand in, what was it, in Times Square and unalive somebody, that he would not lose one single voter or one single supporter, and they came out in droves to support him. It.
Yeah, because he didn't. Do you actually think that if he stood a child in Times Square and shot them dead, that he would be supported? That's insane.
It's you were just saying because she said it, people didn't go see it because of that. Well, because he
Because
said
no,
that,
because
people still supported him, and everybody else that doesn't support him when he says that is just they have TDS. That's the new label, by the way. Whenever you want to disagree with, you say somebody's a conspiracy theorist to discredit them. You say somebody has TDS or Trump derangement
no,
syndrome
I
just
am
to
not
shut them down.
saying that. I am what I am. Okay, in all honesty, since I am. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm going to be authentic without being transparent.
I'll be both. I want both.
Well, I feel okay. I think that you no, I don't think or feel.
Okay.
You spend
Mhm.
an incredible amount of time getting very worked up about Trump and Trump's overreaching oligarchist type statements, and I feel like you fall into the trap sometimes being enraged by those statements instead of sort of being able to let them roll off your back and see them for what they are. Not have to agree with them, but not also not have to so vehemently get your blood pressure up because I think they're meant to do that.
The red tinted light doesn't help to show that my face isn't flush either. But I acknowledge your statement, Erica. I hear what you're saying, and I see you, and
Do
I
you see?
appreciate
I
that.
hope this gets easier because it's very uncomfortable. It's very I wanna be able to control the words that are coming out of my mouth without having to go so slowly.
Well, you are doing fantastic, and I appreciate that. And in to rebut, to push back a little bit, it does come off that way. What bothers me is not so much Trump is going to Trump. We have pretty much seen what he's going to do,
Right.
what and how he's going to do things. What bothers me and what I get so worked up about is that more people that call themselves Christians, more people that call themselves conservatives that have fidelity to the Constitution, or even people that call themselves libertarians don't call him out more. And
I
then if
think
you do call him out, all of a sudden that becomes, and I'm not saying you're saying this, because I've had other people say it. If you make a statement, or if I make a statement and I call Donald Trump out for doing something, then people flock to his defense, and rather than doing what you just did by at least slowing down and saying, "I acknowledge what you're saying. I believe that this might be blah blah blah," rather than listening to the other person and what they're trying to say, the point of what they're trying to say. Then the whole thing happened last year with Me Too, in June, where it was like people heard what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that Trump is the worst president to happen. I'm not saying that I disagree with everything Donald Trump does. I'm not saying that the left is all right. What I'm saying is that what Trump is doing, the bad stuff needs to be called out as equally as the good stuff is praised.
I
Because
think
that to me, go ahead.
that should be our conversation. I think we would get a lot further talking about that than making it so reactionary to the actual order or this executive order or this action. We can start there as a catalyst for the conversation, but we'll probably get a lot further if we base it on the fact that we have people reacting to this way, that if it were the other way around, we would find it phobic or we would call it some type of mental disorder, and that needs to be seen for what it is. I just think we might be able to have a better conversation that way.
And how do we get to that conversation though? How do we, like, when a few weeks ago when I posted up the video, the AI video of the golden statue of Donald Trump. I know it was AI. I know it was created. I know it was, he was trolling or joking, whatever. But
Right.
I was actually very pleased because there were a lot of folks on Truth Social that were like, "What the crap is this?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you sharing this? There's nothing about this is good," right?
Right.
So I appreciated that there was that, but how do you have the conversation when you bring up something like this and you say, "Hey, look, lawmakers that are Trump supporters are saying that Trump derangement syndrome is now a mental disorder, and you can be institutionalized or you can have XYZ done to you." Why are we not calling that out and saying that is a woeful neglect of our freedom of speech and our rights? I mean, like, I,
I
I wish I had more people calling that out.
In the same way that we had a great discussion with Dave the other night,
Yes.
maybe we should be asking more questions instead of making more statements about people's behavior.
I'm just, by the way, and I know it means absolutely nothing coming from me, but I'm so proud of you. I thought you did such a great job. I sat there and, folks, I want to tell you this. I hardly said a word. The only time I spoke is when Dave was like looking for a graphic, and I said something, and then they went right back into it. I mean, I loved it. It was everything that I could more than what I could have expected out of an interview, and I'm so glad that we had it. And I appreciate your willingness to do that and explore that with me because it's like a conservative or a conservative somebody who speaks out against Donald Trump is automatically condemned as a leftist wokist. If you speak out about flat earth or say anything like, hey, well, let's discuss flat earth and talk about this, the moment you say that, you're treated like an outcast, like a moron, like you don't deserve to be given the time of day. So
Yeah, I you have to be respectful, and you can't disagree. It's sort of like saying you don't like tomatoes when you've never had them.
you've had tomatoes before, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's like somebody telling me they don't like a food and then telling me they've never even tried it. You know,
Oh yeah. Or when you ask
how do you know you don't like it, right? I mean,
yeah,
if you want to entertain the possibility and do the research and then come out and declare one way or the other, then do so, and that's what you should do.
exactly.
And that's what you should do. But I still be respectful, you know.
Exactly. And I think that that's possible to do that. And all right, folks, I think that's it for the show today. Erica, I appreciate you hanging out with me. And we will be back next Saturday.
Yeah.
And then, of course, keeping up with everything. And don't forget, Erica, give us one more time the parameters of your contest and when
Okay.
the deadline.
Yeah, I want and I'm just gonna pick. I'm gonna take all the ideas for April Fool's Day and pick the best one, and I'll get that person a subscription to Aaron's Substack. Because I need to win. My family's very competitive. Listen, I've had to do construction and remodel for April Fool's jokes. Like I'm there's no bridge too far, people. Give me what you got. I've pennied people into their bedrooms. And
Penny
had
people? What do you mean by that?
oh god, you never did that? Like in college or camp or anything?
I didn't go to college.
Camp? I mean, you probably went to Bible camp and you can't do that there, but if you take pennies and put them sideways, like lay them horizontal and
Uh-huh.
take like a little rubber mallet or hammer or whatever, and you put them in the door jamb and you knock them in, and then the door, you penny them in. They can't open. The door will not move.
No way.
And the only way to get it out is to literally rip the door off. And so then you're replacing the whole door jamb, the whole everything, the trim, the door,
Oh man.
everything. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's no joke, people. Okay, no,
Pulling out all the stops on that one.
yeah, for sure. Like I'm in because you don't understand what it's like to have four older brothers and have to have this type of competitive holiday in your home. You don't understand. I
That's
realize it makes
hilarious.
me sound bad, but it's well deserved, folks. I'm not going about this lightly. You have no idea. Spark plugs, I've had spark plugs go missing. I've had my alarms changed. They took my phone, for example. They changed all my alarm codes and all my passwords. So I pull up to my house and I'm thinking I'm going to open the garage door and all the alarms go off and the cops come and I can't turn it off because my code doesn't work. Right. Where this is not
Oh,
a
that's
joke, folks.
incredible.
This is very serious business.
That is
So
incredible.
step
Man,
up your
that's
game.
serious stuff. Like, we're gonna have to have some serious submissions here in order to figure this out.
I mean, the transitioning one is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, bring it on. I'm ready.
That's gonna take some planning, though. That might be one of those beyond April Fool's thing, because if you bring it up on April Fool's, they're gonna be like, "That's shut up.
Yeah,
Bull
and we
crap."
have till Tuesday. Yeah,
Yeah, so, like, you might have to lay some groundwork on that one. Maybe that's like a next
could
year
be a
one
next
or
year one, but yeah.
yeah,
I
you
still might have to get him a subscription for it being the best idea, even if I can't use it.
I agree with that as well. Whatever works.
Right? Okay.
All right, folks. Hey, everybody have a great one and you have a fantastic week. We'll talk to you soon later on.
Okay.